From Rafah's rubble to Cairo's corridor of power, a powerful message rises. Gaza will not be erased. The Palestinian Prime Minister's historic visit to Egypt's border alongside top Egyptian officials is more than solidarity. It's a strategic stand against starvation, siege, and displacement. With 5,000 aid trucks stranded and 70% of Gaza's lifeline flowing through Egypt, this joint front at the crossing sends one clear warning: humanity cannot be blocked. Starvation is not strategy, it's a war crime. And Egypt, from the front lines of aid to the heart of diplomacy, declares no to greater Israel, no to ethnic cleansing, and no to silence. This is not just about aid, it's about accountability, sovereignty, and the world's moral test. The message is loud: Gaza is Palestinian. Its future is non-negotiable. We'll discuss this and much more here on In Focus. I'm Rehan Morsi. Egypt today has reported that in a joint press conference at the Rafah border crossing, Egypt's foreign minister affirmed Cairo's unwavering support for the Palestinian people. He stressed the need for an immediate, unimpeded flow of aid into Gaza to end the humanitarian crisis and starvation policies. The minister highlighted Egypt's significant role, noting that 70% of all aid to Gaza has passed through the Rafah crossing. He condemned Israeli obstacles that obstruct aid and displacement plans. The Palestinian Prime Minister also expressed deep gratitude for Egypt's firm stance. Both officials emphasized the need for a durable ceasefire and a political horizon. They confirmed ongoing preparations for a reconstruction conference in Cairo, which will be critical for rebuilding Gaza and restoring a dignified life for its people. This reflects Egypt's consistent and comprehensive approach to the crisis. According to the Times of Israel, a new political development signals the post-war phase for Gaza. The Palestinian Prime Minister from the Rafah crossing announced the formation of a temporary committee to reactivate national institutions. This is a critical step towards the PA's return to governance. This initiative serves as a clear political message. Gaza's future must be managed by its own legitimate authority. No external forces. The Prime Minister's presence in Egypt underscores Cairo's pivotal role in both political and humanitarian efforts to secure the future of the Strip. The statement reinforces that Gaza remains an inseparable part of the state of Palestine, rejecting any attempts to impose a new reality. This collaboration with Egypt is vital for stabilizing the region and advancing the Palestinian cause. To provide more analysis about the importance of the Palestinian Prime Minister's visit to the Egyptian Rafah crossing and its implication on the Gaza Strip, we're joined from California by Dr. Ashraf Singer, an international relations expert. Thank you, sir, for joining us here on In Focus.
Thank you for having me.
So, Dr. Singer, can we consider the Rafah visit a joint declaration that Gaza's fate belongs to the Palestinians and not the occupying forces or the mediators?
Of course, yes. This is a very crucial visit to Rafah. Mohammed Mustafa and Badr Abdulati. What they declared from there, it's a joint declaration that Gaza, or a future of Gaza, still belongs to Palestinians and also is part of Egypt's role to protect Palestinians and emphasizing on Palestinian leadership and rejection any kind of proposal of displacement of Palestinians, where Netanyahu and his team declared many times that they were hoping to reach some countries to take Palestinians. But Egypt today emphasized clearly there is no actions can be accepted by Egypt or any Arab countries and even the international communities. This is including the EU and other major powers like Russia and China. So Israel now clearly is facing the world, not only the Palestinians. So the issue of Palestine now is not really a single issue. It's a really global concern now is emerging in a major cities all over the world. They were declaring that what is going there now, or what the Israel really made, it's really against the humanity, against the international law. But that visit, I can really see it is really important, where Egypt focus on Palestinian welfare. That's mean that Egypt will and will not stop to support Gazans, to support Palestinians, to give them the aid and keep them alive after that genocide by Israelis. It was really clear where many observers really declared their views to many broadcasting all over the world.
Well, sir, as you said there, that Egypt has played a major role when it comes to the mediation efforts, providing aid and so forth, and many other things when it comes to the Palestinian cause. Now, could Egypt's stand at the Rafah crossing redefine how Arab leadership faces Western inaction when it comes to the crisis in Gaza?
This is a very crucial point too, because ongoing mediation effort where the Rafah visits occurred, of course, or aiming to keep that mediation, clearly with Qatar now, where Egypt and Qatar really lobbying against, the Israel lobby here in the United States. But of course, Egypt and the Arab counter, to broke a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas and keep, receiving the messages from Hamas and, of course, from the Israelis, that we can really end that kind of ugly war in Gaza and continue to play a role in shaping Gaza future. And this is what really Egypt emphasized today in that visit by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We can really understand that Rafah actually is a very crucial for the as a symbolic for the Arabs and the international community. They can really understand that Egypt never ever stopped to flew the goods and the aids and medication for all Palestinians. But of course, the future of Gaza and the future of state of Palestine is really determined by their people, and is determined also by the huge support by Egypt and the Arab world against any kind of actions by Israelis. Particularly, Israel is really working hard to lobbying the U.S. Senate and Congress, or the Congress here, just to give them like a huge support to execute that bad plan by displacement of the Palestinians.
Well, now, sir, when the foreign minister was at the Rafah crossing, one of the talking points he discussed was the Gaza reconstruction efforts, the Cairo summit itself. Now, once this summit takes place, once there's a ceasefire, will this be an issue, to restore Gaza without first securing a Palestinian political unity?
This is the most important point for the future of Palestinians. Particularly, we can understand that is both of the Hamas and Fatah, they were in conflict, and Israel actually was playing a bad role in keeping that gap between the Palestinians Authority PLO and Hamas. And unfortunately, Hamas didn't really understand that point clearly. Hamas was controlling Gaza, and really Gazans missed many. Missed the opportunity to be part of what Egypt and the Israelis and Israel and the EU and United States agreed under Yasser Arafat to run Rafah based on that corporations between EU and Egypt and the PLO. What really I can really understand the situation now. We need really to present a proposal to bring all Palestinians as one unit or under one leadership. This is the only path that we can really achieve the goal of free Palestine, get the state of Palestine's be recognized as now more than 90% of the global leaders accept to to give the recognition of state of Palestine. But of course, Hamas and Fatah conflict, which has unfortunately resulted in divided Palestinians leadership, this is never ever will help the interests of Palestinians. But the upcoming, the Cairo reconstruction summit backed by Egypt and the Arab nations propose the most important plan for Gaza. And to achieve that goals for long term, we need really to see that achieving immediate Fatah and Hamas unity and to be clear that Hamas, of course, will not control Gaza anymore because their proposal was not really good or what wasn't really succeed. So it seems to me now we need really to have a new candidate from Palestinians people. They can really run the state of Palestine, not only in Gaza but in West Bank, in Gaza, and actually Abu Mazen, he really accept that proposal. He is really willing to run the new elections that can really help Palestinians to choose the right candidate to run their future.
Okay, now, for the last 2 years, the UN has failed to act or stop the ongoing violence that's been happening in Gaza with numerous vetoes in the Security Council, even though, the Israelis have been, condemned of possible war crimes. How can Egypt leverage their moral authority in stopping this violence when, international bodies like the UN have failed to act?
This is one of the problem actually is facing the international community where the collective actions is pretty weak. We understand the role of power in controlling the international politics, but the proposal by Egypt or by the Arab countries is still relying on the United Nations. Where United Nations, even under Trump, unfortunately, is facing the nation in taking actions. So Egypt, had what we can say that significant moral authority in the Arabs and broader the international arena to let the international community can really act and make decisions that can really stop that aggression by Israelis. For example, non-aligned movement, where Egypt, was one of the founding member. So keeping, the many regional organization like the Arab League, African Union, East Mediterranean Gas Forum, all of these kind of organizations are working hard just to give what we can call, or what we can say, stopping, this is kind of biases from United States or other countries were supporting the aggression of Israelis.
Well, now, UNRWA has been basically demonized, bombed, or their workers killed in the Gaza Strip. Their work has been severely hindered. Now, how is it important for them to survive? I mean, the survival of UNRWA, is it considered the last legal shield that may protect Palestinian refugee rights?
UNRWA role is still the most important role, to serve the Palestinians' needs. Unfortunately, Israel attacked UNRWA and even called UNRWA a terrorist organization, and this is really weird. But the plan of Israelis was really clear now. We were really interested in removing Palestinians from Gaza and keeping, the role of UNRWA. This will stop their plan. And also killing the role of UNRWA means that is gonna to kill all Palestinians. And this is what we are seeing now. Any proposal was made by United States and Israel to feed the Palestinians. It didn't work. And it seems to me will not work. So UNRWA will stay or will be the critical entity, really important to providing essential service and goods and degree of protection for Palestinians refugee. But we can understand that Israel is working hard to limit the role of UNRWA just to keep that level of starvation in Gaza high. So this was like a plan to push the Palestinians out of Gaza.
Well, now, so you touched slightly on the idea of two different governments, whether it be Hamas or the Palestinian Authority. Now, with Hamas still in Gaza, how can the Palestinian Authority possibly govern without sparking some sort of civil conflict? Will it have to be like some sort of peaceful handover from Hamas to the Palestinian Authority?
This is a question that is Hamas should really ask themselves first. What they were in Gaza for more than 10 years, they didn't really give the Gazans, the security, and unfortunately didn't really calculate, the Israel actions. It seems to me their plan would really fail. I'm not saying, denying the rule of resistance. The international law really confirmed that. But dealing with Israel need really different perspective. Unfortunately, they didn't learn from the history of Egypt and Israel in terms of negotiation. And, what I can say that is Egypt really learned that Israel is not Israel by itself. Israel is backing or was backing by the U.S. And unfortunately, Israel as a state is really relevant to the domestic politics here in the United States. So I think to run the future of Palestinians and keep Palestinians safe, we need really to find a real people that really emerge from the Palestinians that really can control and offer a degree of security for Palestinians and achieve the dream of state of Palestine. And based on what we learned from that conflict between Hamas and Fatah, it didn't really achieve that goal and will not achieve it for future. So we need really to remind Palestinians, either Hamas or Fatah or any part or any group in Palestine, that they need really to be one vote, one voice against the Israelis.
Yes, as you said there, unity is key to a future Palestinian state. Now, thank you so much, Dr. Usher Singer, the international expert. Thank you for your insights and thank you for joining me here on In Focus. And we move from Gaza to Lebanon. The visit of the U.S. Special Envoy to Lebanon, Tom Barak, comes at a critical and highly tense moment when regional and international interests converge on Lebanese soil and the issue of war and peace, disarmament, and the international presence on the southern border intersect. This is a strategic crossroads not only for Lebanon, but for the entire region. Will Barak's visit be used to impose a new security settlement or ignite a tense round of negotiations between the major powers? And according to The National, it has highlighted that the U.S. envoy Tom Barak's visit to Beirut marks a pivotal moment in Lebanon's push for sovereignty. The Lebanese government has taken historic steps to reclaim control over weapons, demanding all arms be placed under state authority, a move targeting Hezbollah's dominance. Barak stressed cooperation, not coercion, urging Israel to honor the ceasefire and withdraw from occupied southern lands. Lebanon, in turn, expects security support and international aid tied to disarmament and reform, with Iran pushing back and Hezbollah warning of chaos. The U.S. backs a peaceful path, but real peace hinges on Israel's compliance and Lebanon's unity, making this a defined test for regional stability. To shed more light on the visit of the U.S. Special Envoy to Lebanon, Tom Barak, and the situation in Lebanon during the trials to disarmament of Hezbollah, we're joined from Beirut by Dr. Ahmed Yunus, an academic researcher and political analyst. Thank you so much for joining us. Sir, firstly, let's start off by asking, is Barak's visit a turning point when it comes to Lebanese sovereignty, or just a new form of pressure on the Lebanese authority or the Lebanese government?
Good evening to you and to your audience. Barak's visit to Beirut can be seen as a moment of pressure rather than a full turning point for Lebanon's sovereignty. So his message was clear. Washington wants Lebanon to act first on Hezbollah's weapon before offering any political or economic support. This approach leaves Lebanon facing a heavy burden without real guarantees from Israel or the United States. Instead of creating balance, if it shifts responsibility onto the Lebanese government alone, which risks deepening internal divisions. So all at the same time. Barak's statement, if we notice that Hezbollah's weapons are an internal Lebanese matter, as he said.
Which kind of brings up the next idea. Do you think that if this pressure continues and the Lebanese government decides to reclaim control of these arms, do you think that this may trigger some sort of internal collapse?
Yes, on the surface, it looks like Washington is stepping back and leaving the choice to the Lebanese. But in reality, this may simply be a way of applying indirect pressure, pushing the government to act while the U.S. avoids taking responsibility for retraining Israel without commitments from Tel Aviv to stop its attacks or respect agreements. Lebanon could find itself caught in a one-sided process. So his visit now should be read less as a step toward restoring Lebanese sovereignty and more as a tool of leverage. The real test will be whether Israel makes a parallel move, such as reducing its strikes or showing readiness for de-escalation. If not, Lebanon risks being cornered, pressured by the U.S. to confront.
But the U.S. envoy to Lebanon, at least officially, has stated that he is urging the Israeli side to withdraw from, occupied lands. Do you think this is something that they're actually trying to do, or pressure the Israeli side, or, as you just said, that they're only pressuring the Lebanese side into doing something?
We see that Lebanon faces a very delicate challenge when it comes to reclaiming control over arms. Hezbollah's weapons are not just a military issue, but also a political and a social one. For many of its supporters, the weapons represent protection, dignity, and resistance against Israel. So if the state tries to take them by force, it risks sparking violence, which could quickly spiral into a civil conflict. That is why simply demanding is extremely dangerous. So for Lebanon to succeed, I think any process must be gradual and negotiated, not imposed. The state would need to build trust by showing that the army is strong enough to defend the country. That political reforms ensure fair representation for all groups.
So your belief there, sir, is that if the government goes through with the disarmament plan, there is a possibility that we may see some sort of backlash from Hezbollah or their supporters.
Now the government's disarmament plan, at least as it is being presented, directly touches Hezbollah's power because the group's influence is tied to its weapons. So disarming Hezbollah would weaken its military role, reduce its ability to act independently of the state, and shift the balance of power within Lebanon politics. So for some Lebanese, this looks like a step towards restoring state authority and sovereignty. But for Hezbollah and its supporters, it appears as an attack on what they see as their core strength and identity. Because of this, the plan also risks inviting a backlash. Hezbollah leaders have already warned that taking away the weapons could spark internal conflict. The group might mobilize its base, block government moves, or even confront a state institution if it feels its survival is threatened.
Okay, now can we discuss UNIFIL? Is it still considered some sort of shield for stability, or has it become a target in the greater power rivalry? We've seen, in the past, the Israelis either trying to push them back or pretending that they've accidentally targeted UNIFIL forces in Lebanon.
UNIFIL was originally deployed in South Lebanon to act as a buffer and shield for stability, as you know, keeping clashes between Israel and Hezbollah from escalating into full war. For years, it helped reduce tensions by monitoring the blue line, reporting violations, and providing a sense of international presence that result civilians. In this sense, it still plays an important role, especially in preventing small incidents from spiraling out of control. But in today's context, UNIFIL now is increasingly caught in great power rivalry. So the US and its allies push for a stronger UNIFIL mandate to pressure Hezbollah, while Russia and others resist, turning the force into what they see as a tool for Western agendas. So this tug of war limits, if we can say that UNIFIL's effectiveness as its mission becomes politicized rather than purely about peacekeeping. Instead of being seen as a neutral buffer, parts of Lebanon society now view it with suspicion, depending on their political loyalties.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your insight there. Dr. Ahmed Yunus, an academic researcher and political science, analyst. Thank you for joining us. And from Gaza's cries for life to Lebanon's test of sovereignty, two nations, one struggle for dignity. This is not just news, it's a warning and hope. This was In Focus. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more updates here on Q News.